Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now today we have something a little bit different, a little bit of a collaboration. And if you are a mom who is going to be returning to work, or maybe you are coming to the end of your maternity leave and you're thinking, cripes, how on earth am I going to manage this? Well, I have Vicky from the Mummy Bubble blog who has returned to work not once but twice to share today her tips on how to not stress out and feel guilty and all of that jazz about returning back to work. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Vicky.
Hello, I'm Vicky. I'm really excited to be collaborating with the very lovely Talia from Motherhood, The Real Deal, which is just one of my absolute favourite blogs. I think it's so brilliant how it mixes practical with funny and just some fabulous product reviews on there as well. And it just really, for me, hits the nail on the head of what motherhood is all about. So I'm super excited to be working with Talia. This vlog is all about my top tips for returning to work. So just a little bit about me. I have 2 children. I've been on maternity leave now for my 2nd year, but that is now coming to an end now that my baby is just about to turn 1. I'm going to be returning to my job as a journalist. It's quite a high pressure job. The hours are extremely long, extremely unpredictable, and there's just a lot of pressure. So I know all about worrying about returning to work and how it's gonna work out, and are you going to be able to balance everything and juggle everything. There's just a million things flying through your head. So what I'm going to share with you is some of my top tips for preparing for that return to work, just to make that a really smooth transition, as smooth a transition as possible, and just really cut back on all those worries and all those fears that you're probably having right now. Tip number 1, find the right balance. This one is so important, and it's something that you can't really do on your own, this decision. This is something that you need to take with your partner. First of all, talk to them about, okay, if you are going to go back, you've made that decision, how many days do you want to go back for ideally? Are you going to go back full time? Is that what you really want? Would you like to ask for maybe 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week? What would be your ideal number of days? Think about what would be the ideal situation for you, discussing it with your partner, write that down, and then propose it to your boss. And don't be scared. Don't be scared to say, look, I've had a child, but I can still work. I can still work really hard for you. I can still be a really valuable employee. It's just that I have a life now and serious responsibilities that don't just include going down the pub when it's 6 o'clock. I have a child to pick up from nursery. I have to be out the office at 5:30, or even earlier than that, to make it through the traffic in order to pick my child up. That's just me now, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to give you 100% when I'm in the office on time every single day. I'm just asking for a little bit of cooperation from you. Don't be scared to ask for that balance. Don't be scared to be honest that you know you can't necessarily do 8 AM to 6 PM every single day, plus some late evenings as well. Like how on earth can we manage that and have a child to pick up from nursery and take to nursery and all the rest of it? It's just not going to work out. So find the balance, the perfect balance that would be good for you. Propose it to your employer, and don't be scared and don't apologise that you're proposing this to your employer. Just do it, propose it, see what they say back, and get a negotiation going. There must be somewhere in the middle that you can find, and do not forget your rights. There are many places now that provide information, free information. I would recommend Pregnant Then Screwed. I think they have a free helpline where you can actually speak to a lawyer or a legal expert who will tell you, if you are having problems with negotiating this return to work, exactly what your rights are. So remember that. Remember, don't be apologetic and fight for what you need. Tip number 2 is find the right childcare. This one is also important because this is going to give you peace of mind when you are in the office trying to focus on work. You don't want to be worrying that your child has been left in some kind of death trap with someone that you're really not sure about. You want to know that you've left them with someone nice, someone caring, someone who understands you and the way that you like your child to be cared for. And you want them in an environment that you feel is nurturing and safe and comfortable, and that your child is going to thrive in, because some children will love the environment of a nursery. Both of my kids, my eldest is already at nursery, my second will be joining her at nursery come January. So I personally prefer the nursery environment, but your child might really take to a childminder, you know, that at-home environment that maybe is a bit more familiar to them. So really it's down to you, and visiting as many places as possible, getting all the information, checking the Ofsted reports just to see if there's any red flags there. Coming up with a list of questions to ask them, things like what do you do about bullying, what do you do about negative behaviour, how do you support children when it comes to potty training, how do you help children during meals, what's on your menu, things like that. Tip number 3 is get organised. Make sure that you have got suitable clothes for your child to go to childcare in, so clothes that you don't mind getting completely messed up. Make sure that their names are very, very clearly written on a label. Now, I started out really quite ambitiously stitching those fabric name labels into my children's clothes, and I was doing it for hours. It's just ridiculous. Buy a black laundry pen that will write in permanent marker on clothes, and just write it on the labels, on the like laundry instruction labels inside, anywhere inside the clothes that you can write their name. Just do that. Like anything, just make it quick. Don't start stitching pretty labels in, because your kid is going to trash the clothes anyway and grow out of them within a couple of months. Other ways you can get organised are make sure that you're ready to go back to work, you've got all the kit that you need, that your clothes still fit you, that you've got a wardrobe that you're going to be comfortable in. Make sure that you have planned what you're going to do in the mornings, who's going to drop the children off at nursery, who's going to pick them up, what time are you going to have to leave, what's your journey like, what's the traffic like, how much is that going to hold you back on the journey to and from work. Tip number 4, cut corners. Now, we're mums and we're perfectionists, so the thought of cutting corners is kind of like, no, why would I cut corners? I have to do everything just right. But no, you don't. You don't have to do everything just right. You really don't. Ask for help wherever you can. Order your grocery shopping online. Drop your standards on cleaning. Hire a cleaner if you can afford it, if your budget can support that. Get your mum, parents, whoever to help whenever they can. Buy clothes that don't need to be ironed. That's a big one. Cut back on the iron. You're amazed how much time you will save if you don't have to iron any clothes. And my final tip, and this is my most important tip to me anyway, is ditch the guilt. Don't feel guilty that you're returning to work. Whatever reason you're returning, whether it be because you absolutely love your job and you would be heartbroken to give it up, you really need the money, you just can't afford to get by on one salary, or you're the main breadwinner because you have a particular career path in mind and you just need to go back and focus on that right now. If you were in the middle of training when you left and you need to get back to it, whatever the reason, don't feel guilty for going back. There is no right or wrong way to raise a child. You're raising your children, your child, your way, and there's absolutely nothing to feel guilty about being a working mum these days. There's so many working mums out there doing it their own way, whether they're working full-time or part-time, and your kids will grow up great. They will grow up absolutely fine, and all you need to do is remember to enjoy the hours that you get with them in the weekends, in the mornings, and just ditch the guilt. Don't feel bad. Well, I really hope that was useful. Thank you so much again to Talia for having me on her channel, and do pop over to my channel, The Mummy Bubble, and if you like what you see there, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Thanks so much, Vicky. Well, I hope you found those tips useful. What did you think about them? Are you feeling a little bit better after watching that? Are you still concerned? If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them below and we'll jump in and try and help you with those. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, share it and hit subscribe. I'll also leave all the information down below for Vicky's vlog and blog so you can hear more from her. I've also got some really useful links from my blog about returning to work. So I'm going to include all of that below, so you've got a bit of a toolkit to help you out. So good luck, mamas, returning back to work. You've got this. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.